The three countries, Russia, Iran, and China, don't actually like each other that much. Russia stole a huge chunk of Western Manchuria from China in the 1860s, and then they invaded the rest of Manchuria in the early 1900s. For the entirety of the 1800s, Iran lost a great deal of their northern lands to Russian aggression. Let's not forget that the British and the Soviets invaded Iran in 1941. They said they were just going to be there for 6 months. They didn't leave till 1946. I know that the mainstream media is making these three guys look like they're just such good friends, but they could not be any more ideologically opposed. Russia is a right-wing, hyper-Christian state not known for their tolerance of Muslims. Iran is an Islamic state run by Sharia law, and then China is an a-religious state. Not to mention that Iran and China have not forgot about Russia taking a lot of their territory, as evidenced by China making a new map where they include some Russian territory in their borders. But as ideologically opposed as they are, they do have one threat. America, over the past 120 years, went from a sphere of influence to Latin America and the Caribbean, like this, to pretty much calling the shots in a lot or most of what goes on in the world. That is quite threatening. Iran, Russia, and China are fairly influential countries that want to exert a sphere of influence in their territory. And the US goes, what sphere of influence? My bases are everywhere. Each of those three countries also want to escape the weaponization of the dollar, since they are all being heavily sanctioned by it. But yes, these three countries have formed an alliance to take down the US a few pegs, but only to an extent. China needs access to US and Western capital markets to keep their struggling economy alive. It's a simple Google search that the United States and Iran also shared the geopolitical aim of removing the Taliban regime in Afghanistan. Now the Taliban is back and Iran is worried. The Russian economy, led by Putin, is hanging by a thread. The Russian military is being propped up heavily by Iran, and their economy is being held up by China. And China, who's gone out of their way to kind of stay neutral and not offend anyone, is starting to get mad at Iran. Even though the Houthis are not attacking Chinese ships for the most part, China's shipping costs have increased over 170%, from $1,500 per container to about $4,000. Iran has responded by saying they can't control the Houthis to that extent. But either way, it's my opinion that China and Iran are both closely watching Russia. But if Russia destabilizes, that's a bad thing for the world, so the West would most likely come in to mitigate the damage, and you can bet Iran and China will be back at the table to reclaim the lands that was theirs long before it was Russia's. I'm the Geo Hussar, and I buy any bottle of anything depending on how pretty the bottle looks. Thanks for watching.